Elsa's breath came in ragged gasps as she clutched the splintered remains of her ceremonial spear. The weapon had served her people, the Catharan, for 3 generations, passed from warrior to warrior, blessed by the elders, inscribed with the names of every battle it had seen. Now it was nothing more than a jagged stick, broken against the chitinous armor of a Vexcar war drone. Around her, the sand dunes of Tertius Prime glowed crimson under the dying light of twin suns. The Vexcar circled like carrion birds, their mechanical limbs clicking and whirring, photoreceptors gleaming with cold calculation. 12 of them. Maybe 15. Elsa had stopped counting after the 8th one emerged from the crashed assault ship. Her squad was gone, scattered, dead. She was alone. The lead Vexicar chittered in its mechanical language, a sound like grinding gears and static. Elsa didn't need a translator to understand the message, surrender or die. The Catharan didn't surrender. It wasn't in their nature. She tightened her grip on the broken spear and bared her teeth. 4 rows of them designed for tearing through the tough vegetation of her homeworld. The Vexcar advanced. Then the sky split open. It wasn't an explosion, not exactly. It was more like reality itself was being torn apart by something falling too fast, burning too bright. A streak of fire cut through the atmosphere, and for a moment, Elsa thought it was a meteor. But meteors didn't correct their trajectory. Meteors didn't deploy retro thrusters at the last possible second. The impact shook the ground, throwing up a wall of sand and dust. The Vexcar paused, photoreceptors swiveling toward the crater that had suddenly appeared 20 meters away. Elsa used the moment to catch her breath, crouching low, ready to die fighting. Someone walked out of the smoke. He was tall, taller than any Catharan, with skin the color of the deep forests and hair cropped short against his skull. He wore armor that looked like it had seen better days, scorched and dented, held together with what appeared to be improvised repairs. In his hands, he carried a weapon Elsa didn't recognize, a long rifle with glowing blue lines running along its barrel. The human, because that's what he had to be, Elsa had heard the stories, surveyed the scene with dark, calculating eyes. Then he looked at her, looked at the broken spear, looked at the Vexcar, and smiled. "Mind if I join the fight?" he said in perfect galactic standard. Before Elsa could answer, he opened fire. The rifle didn't make the sharp crack of a ballistic weapon or the high-pitched whine of a plasma gun. It made a sound like thunder being compressed into a single point and released all at once. The lead Vexcar exploded into fragments of metal and synthetic flesh. The second one tried to dodge, but the human's aim was already tracking it. Another shot. Another explosion. Zia, she would learn his name later, moved like water flowing downhill. Inevitable, adaptive, unstoppable. He rolled behind a dune as return fire peppered the sand, came up firing, dropped 2 more Vexcar before they could adjust their targeting algorithms. The remaining drones scattered, trying to flank him, but he was already moving, already 3 steps ahead. "On your left!" Elsa shouted as a Vexcar circled around. Zia spun, but not to shoot. He drew a blade from his hip, just a simple combat knife, nothing fancy, and threw it with casual precision. It buried itself in the drone's central processor. The machine twitched once and collapsed. "Thanks for the heads up," Zia called out. "You want to just watch or you want to help?" Elsa's pride stung, but her warrior's instinct was stronger. She charged the nearest Vexacar with her broken spear, using it like a dagger, driving the jagged end into the seam between armor plates. The drone shrieked an electronic wail, and she twisted the spear, feeling circuits snap and hydraulics burst. They fell into a rhythm, the human and the Catharan. Zia laid down suppressing fire while Elsa moved in close, using her broken weapon to devastating effect. The Vexcar, designed to fight at range, couldn't adapt fast enough to their combined assault. One by one they fell. When the last drone collapsed into the sand, sparking and twitching, silence descended over the dunes. Elsa stood among the wreckage, her fur matted with dust and machine oil, her chest heaving. Zia lowered his rifle and walked over to retrieve his knife, wiping it clean on a piece of Vexcar hull. "Zia," he said, extending a hand. "Human Coalition Forces." "Well, former Coalition Forces. Currently freelancing." Elsa stared at the hand, then clasped it in the Catharan way, forearm to forearm. "Elsa, Catharan Defense Legion. Currently very confused." "About what? The dramatic entrance? The impossible odds we just beat? The fact that I happened to crash land right when you needed help? All of it." Zia laughed, a sound that was surprisingly warm.
"Yeah, I get that a lot."
Truth is, I was tracking that Vexcar assault ship when my nav system went haywire. Ended up in Atmo with no control, figured I'd make the best of a bad situation. He looked around at the destroyed drones. Seems like it worked out. You saved my life, Elsa said quietly. Nah, Zia shouldered his rifle. You would have taken at least 3 more before they got you. I just evened the odds. He started walking toward his crater, then paused. Your people have a saying, right? About the warrior's path? Elsa blinked. Few outsiders knew Catharan philosophy. The path is walked together or not at all. There you go. Zia grinned. Besides, I've been fighting alone for too long. Gets boring. You seem like you know how to handle yourself in a fight. In the distance, Elsa could hear the engines of Catharan rescue ships. Her comm unit crackled to life. Her squad leader frantic, asking for her position. She looked at the human. This strange warrior who had fallen from the sky like something out of legend. The Coalition, she said. Why did you leave? Zia's expression darkened for just a moment. That's a longer story. But the short version? I got tired of following orders that didn't make sense. Out here, I make my own calls. And you just happened to call this one right. Lucky, I guess. He pulled a data chip from his armor and tossed it to her. That's got the Vexcar ship's nav logs. Might want to pass it to your command. They're planning something bigger than a random raid. Elsa caught the chip, her mind racing. Around her, the evidence of what they'd accomplished together lay scattered in the sand. 12 Vexcar drones, maybe 15. A battle that should have been her death. Zia, she called as he started climbing out of his crater toward what remained of his ship. He turned. If you're freelancing, she said, the Catharan could use someone like you. Zia's grin widened. I'll think about it, but first I need to fix my ship. He paused. Though I wouldn't say no to a hand. You any good with fusion drives? Elsa looked at her broken spear, then at the human, then smiled, showing all 4 rows of teeth. Let's find out. As the rescue ships descended and the twin suns finally set, Elsa realized something. Humanity's reputation across the galaxy wasn't exaggerated. They really were crazy enough to dive into impossible fights with a smile and a quip. But more than that, they were crazy enough to win. And sometimes crazy was exactly what the galaxy needed.